What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Watching Paint Dry here on Another Letdown. My name is Zach from Another Letdown Media, and this is the show where we hang out after we should have thought about going to bed. I should have waited for that sound effect. That would have been cool. After we should have thought about going to bed on a Saturday night and work through the ridiculous backlog of miniatures that we've accumulated that need painting. There's an old adage that says if a miniatures painter ever runs out of projects to paint, he or she will die. So we're just trying to stave off death for as long as possible. And joining me on the line, as always, our resident monkey handler, my perennial painting partner, it's Broody Gambit. Mike, how's it going?
It's going great. Glad to be here.
I
think my camera failed to load.
Oh no!
I just got the alert. It was working just a second ago.
It sure was. Well, let's get that sorted out. And as while we do, I feel like I should lead in some kind of a prayer. Okay, that worked. I feel like we should beg forgiveness here. So forgive us, Steve from the Skulls Department of Games Workshop. It has been over a month since last our schedules aligned and we were able to paint. So we will as sort of self-imposed penance, we will just have to print and purchase more minis. I think that's appropriate penance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Something around that line.
Right. As with all the shows that we host here on the channel, we believe in civil rights for absolutely everyone and in being as inclusive as possible. So any comments or activity actively working against that goal are not welcome and will not be tolerated. Let's paint. Here we go. I am working on Blade tonight, and I've been staring at this mini for quite a long time on my workspace, on my desk. I have to keep the camera like all the way zoomed out here for him to fit all on the frame. It's also worth noting this is probably going to be the last. This might even be the last stream from this computer.
Oh wow!
Yeah, the parts are all here. I'm taking the desk apart on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week. I might stream on Monday. I do want to try and finish Indiana Jones, but because I genuinely have no idea what's going to happen to my save file if I move over. It's on Game Pass, so it should be cloud saved, but
you never know.
You never know. So we'll see what Monday brings. But yeah, this week is the grand office remodeling. I've got all the cable management stuff in. I've got a new surge protector coming in on Tuesday. I've more or less figured out where all the cable lines are going to go. So it's just a matter of actually putting them in at this point. So the eagle-eyed viewer over here will notice that this is a very Wesley Snipes coated blade from Atomic Mass Games. This is the actual official Marvel Crisis Protocol mini. But what I am doing here is I'm going to do a not so subtle homage to the first appearance of Blade, which was Tomb of Dracula number 10. Based on the price, I'm going to say this is somewhere in the 1970s, but I'm not certain on that one. 12 cents, 20 cents. No, yeah, probably 1970s. So we'll do some.
Comics pricing is weird.
It really is. That is definitely the case. So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's like, so obviously in the 1920s and stuff, you had your like 10 cents and 12 cents and and it seemed to be
20s,
fairly static.
Well, 20s. So 1964. I'm looking at an issue from 1964 right in front of me right now. It's 12 cents. So
yeah, that's what I was gonna say was weird. It just seems like it was so static and the price didn't change all that much in like 60-70 years, and like by the time you get to the 90s you started getting up to $1.99 or something like that.
Yeah.
But then it seemed to like skyrocket in the mid 2000s.
Yep.
At least compared to just kind of how slow it had gone over the years.
Right. No, I want to go more green than that actually. Let's see if we can remember how to paint. It's been a minute.
Put something on the brush and smear it on the plastic.
Well, usually there's something to do with the wet palette involved. All right. right, so we're gonna get that one in there, and I'm gonna add a little bit of ugly green to it. You all right? You sound like you got a sniffle.
Yeah, I know pollen and allergies have been.
Oh,
really
they've been
bad.
Yeah, bad this year. Yeah, just a tiny bit of green on this.
Like last week, I was completely. Like Saturday, Sunday, I had like no voice. Monday, I still barely had a voice. It was just starting to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm just kind of last vestiges of a lot of the pollen buildup. We had a lot of good rain, like yesterday and today. So hopefully it won't just like sploosh back out again. But
yep, I hear that. We seem to be getting said rain right now. When I put my daughter to bed, it was absolutely just dumping rain down. So, but we'll take it. The plants need it. Oh yeah, that was the perfect shade. All right, cool. Just a little hint of green in the brown on the boots. Actually, I may want to darken this up just a tad. Bit of darker brown. Where are you? Trench mud. That'll work. Oh, hey, yeah. Paint cans going all over the place. So free comic book day next week.
Mm-hmm.
You going anywhere for it, or are you just?
I am not.
Yeah. I don't think I would have.
To at least.
I don't think I would have, but my buddies were like, "Hey, let's go watch Thunderbolts after free comic book day." I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that seems fine. Let's do that." And being that it is a Marvel movie with low amounts of hype, oh, I nailed the color here. We were able to get tickets, and it's on opening weekend, so cool. Yeah, I'm like moderately, at least interested in Thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm.
Like honestly, maybe more so than Fantastic Four right now.
Yeah.
I'm not disinterested in Fantastic Four. I'm just burnt out of Marvel movies. Like,
yeah, it's kind of just me in general as well.
Daredevil Born Again was amazing. I was so happy with it. But that's because it's like not really connected to anything else.
Yeah.
Or at least we'll see, right? Like Thunderbolts, I don't know if there's too much New York content in there, but if there is, they're going to have to deal with Mayor Fisk stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be interesting to see where that goes. Even if they just mention it, like, oh, hey, we're vigilantes operating in New York, but like we're government contracts, so is there actually, or like federal government contracts, so is there anything Fisk can do? I don't know. So that'll be interesting. I don't know. Did you see Born Again yet?
No, I have not gotten a chance to. I haven't seen really anything.
It's really, really good. I mean, it definitely, like, it suffers from, oh, hey, we shot a bunch of episodes with one creative team, and then they were bad, so they fired everybody and brought in a better creative team with a better vision, i.e. the Netflix team. That's literally what they brought in. And now things are, like, okay and better, but they redid the first episode and the final 2 episodes with the new creative team, and we're like, oh, couldn't you just have scrapped everything and done this, because this was cool. Like, and the stuff in the middle was not what I would call bad. It just didn't fit exactly the way they thought it would, and I guess we kind of knew that. But no, it was a really fun ride, and I will be excited to get back at it in season 2 next year. But I am. It's a struggle, right, with a toddler to find time to watch it, and to try and watch it on time is equally difficult. Because I didn't want any. That's like one of the few things that I actually care about spoilers anymore. Like, there was a time where I was just like, I'm gonna try and ride this. I've not seen trailers for however long, and I'm just like, I don't actually care anymore. Like, I'm over that. So yeah, I'll watch a trailer every now and again. but I don't care if I don't see it. Like my buddy John is like, oh, I got to see everything. I got to know everything. I got to like, and then he'll hit a wall and be like, I don't want to know anything from here on. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, conversations with him are weird. And then of course I hang out with his brother a lot too because we're neighbors. And oh dear, well, something's gone wrong with my toilet. That was weird.
That's not helpful.
Yeah, my brush toilet decided to clog.
It could have been your normal toilet.
Well, that's been being squiffy too, so who knows? But yeah, it's I guess I'm cautiously optimistic about Thunderbolts just because it's different enough for me to care, I guess, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He's got bright green pants on his first appearance. And bright green sunglasses. Like, this is the most blaxploitation cover ever.
I wonder, given like the sort of public memory for pop culture, or at least for like movies and stuff like that, it's like how everything is so fast paced now that it's like really easy to be like, oh, I forgot that movie came out so long ago, or it's like you just kind of move on to whatever the next thing is and you get excited about it and just keep moving and moving and moving.
Yeah.
It's like one of the classic like comic book nerd debates, or not necessarily debates, but it's like people like bring up it's like they bring up the fact that Marvel stole X from DC and DC stole X from Marvel.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's going to, or how that much that will carry over into mainstream with the whole like Suicide Squad that came out 5 years ago.
Yep.
And then like the Suicide Squad came out more recently than that, and then Suicide Squad prior to that.
Yeah.
Which is obviously the same concept of Marvel's Thunderbolts, is like the group of villains hired by the government to do something.
Or the group of like misfits, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't call Yelena Belova a villain per se, but I don't.
Not the way they built her up in the MCU, no.
Right. In the comics, I mean, a little bit more so, but like, yeah.
But like a lot of the classic Thunderbolts, you get like your Bullseye and I mean
Red Hulk.
Yeah, it's like it's a whole lot of villains.
Yeah,
that are kind of brought up in to do all that. I mean, you had especially like during the Dark Reign era with Green Goblin as the head of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that completely. This is not
because that was you had Bullseye impersonating Hawkeye, and you had Mac Gargan Venom impersonating like Spider-Man, and all kinds of weird stuff going on in that era.
This may actually not be dark enough. Let's darken it up some. Add a drop of black. Because I am trying to go like, I'm trying to make Blade look both modern and retro. So. But there'll be definitely some hints smattered around.
These tentacles are giving me some difficulty working around.
Yeah. That'll do it. So with whatever time I am afforded to consume media lately, I've been watching a lot of old not current movies.
Mm-hmm.
I literally, just before we set up here, I finished watching The Breakfast Club. Now,
Great, that's a classic.
it is absolutely a classic, and I grew up with the John Hughes movies. I think we all did in our age.
Actually, I did not see a lot of them until like I had graduated college.
Oh, really?
I had a lot of I had a lot of like Gen X friends, who were like more alive in the '80s than I was, because I mean, I was born late
we were
80s,
88, so yeah. No, I guess I was gonna say for like
Home Alones and stuff I'd seen, but I hadn't seen like Breakfast Club.
Well, that's what I meant. Like
any of that thing.
Like Home Alone, Ferris Bueller. Like we've seen, like, a lot of those movies were our first, like, as you know, we were both 88, as late 80s babies. You know, Breakfast Club, etc. For a lot of us were like, oh, that's our first R-rated movie, you know, or just things like that. Anyway, absolutely classic movie. It's probably been 10 years since I've watched it, and God, the performances in that movie were so spot on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see Ali Sheedy's character and you immediately fall, like, you're just like, oh, this is the best. She is hilarious. Judd Nelson is an absolute champ. And of course, Molly Ringwald is phenomenal. And I mean, who can forget Coach Bombay?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so that movie's wonderful, and it's really inspired me. Like, I want to go back and rewatch, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, Weird Science, all those movies now, because god dang, that's a fun movie.
I definitely think Emilio Estevez got the short end of the stick compared to his brother.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like his acting career could have been a whole lot better. I think he's a better actor overall than Charlie Sheen.
I mean, miles better. But he also, like he was a writer. He did a lot of production work. Like, he hustled, where Charlie Sheen was just kind of handed everything.
But Emilio, like, deliberately kept, like, his mother's name.
Yep.
Because he didn't want to ride that coattail, kind of like Nicolas Cage changed his name also.
Yeah.
To avoid the nepotism.
The Coppola nepotism, yeah.
And I feel like that, like, Charlie Sheen keeping his father's name helped him out a little bit more.
Yeah, probably. But I also think that, like, if you look at the movies that Emilio Estevez has done, in terms of just, these are absolutely timeless movies. All three Mighty Ducks movies, the third one least of all, but, like, the Young Guns movies were awesome. Basically any Brat Pack movie he was in was phenomenal. He really, and even, like, when he came back for Game Changers, he was the best part of that show by a long shot, and he chose to. Like, he was in control, and I think that's why I find him to be more respectable, just overall. And yeah, does it kind of stiff him a little bit in the financial side of things? Maybe, but I think he made the right choice. I really do.
Yeah, I guess Charlie Sheen also gets a lot of fame for all of his, like, off-camera.
Yes. His shenaniganery. Yeah, maybe. Degenerate nature. But yeah, I was really happy to find that on Netflix the other night, when I was just like, I need to watch something and not play a video game tonight. Final Fantasy is starting to annoy me. Like, I love it, but I'm at the final, like, boss rush segment. I'm just like, I just want this to be over with. Like, it's gonna be a weird year in August, not going to Gen Con.
Yeah.
I I may have something else in the works, but I'm not sure yet. Like, a bunch of people have applied for with other companies, and I'm just like, I don't know that I want to do that. I don't want to start over. Like,
completely understand.
I've given almost 15 years of my life to Greater Than Games. And so that sucks. But yeah, I got some other things in the works that I'm just like, I'd rather do this instead. All right, time to get some actual black. The question is, do I use Max Darth for this? And I think
for what?
I think for any part of this model, and I think the answer is Max Darth is the shadow tones on this mini, because there's going to be so much black. I'm literally using the darkest red, the darkest green mixed with black to make it even darker. Uh-oh. That is a clogged paint pot.
No.
That's okay. I got a pin right here. Oh, so Indiana Jones the other night. I was playing. I was like, man, I need Broody. He's better at this kind of puzzle than I am.
Oh yeah, what was it?
It was literally something straight out of NSYNC. I was like, oh, this Broody would solve this in a second. I got it very quickly. It was not anywhere near as complicated. But it was like, put the things here and other things will move, and you have to like match up the things with the direction. And I was like, oh, okay, this is a Broody puzzle. Game's okay. Like, Alex really liked it. I'm kind of lukewarm on it. It's very slow, and that's I don't love that. Like, I see Indiana Jones as it's an action adventure movie, and it's playing more like a Sherlock Holmes mystery.
Yeah,
which again, not the worst, but not really what I want out of an Indiana Jones experience.
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, that's cool. That's a neat color. I've got the standard Atomic Mass Games doesn't have painting in mind when they sculpted this mini problem.
Yeah. All the ghosts coming out of the ghost and skulls coming out of the
sidewalk.
Wherever.
Yeah. And that's what he's like entirely connected to. But
Night Model's always kind of got a bad rap for this. But like Atomic Mass is doing it really bad. It's like the people used to always joke about like the tactical rock or tactical gargoyles.
yeah.
Like your Batman minis and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like same thing with a lot of these Atomic Mass things. It's like a bunch of stuff that doesn't make any sense to randomly be on the sidewalk. That's just part of the scenery for the model.
And you're just expected to go with it.
Yeah. Like some of the heroes are, some of the heroes are just there, and so you have your base and you're fine, but then some like rogue blasting out of the Sentinel.
Yeah, I
also
ended up
dynamic, but then it's like you have her as a mini that's supposed to be going around the table, and then it's like, oh, she's just dragging this Sentinel head around to explode out of.
Right.
Everywhere she goes.
Yeah. I have her just on a flight stick.
Yeah.
Which made a lot more sense, I thought. took a lot of conversion to get that to happen, but
yeah,
that was all right. I was okay with it. So, 9 issues away now from completing Iron Fist.
That's good.
Yeah.
I know you've been working on that for a while.
Actually, not that long. I really only started earlier or at the end of last year. I just realized how short the run was, and I was like, "Oh, I could just get this." I got all the expensive ones, except for there's one more that's like $65, but that's not particularly bad, considering I paid $300 for the first appearance of Sabretooth.
The first appearance of Sabretooth was in an Iron Fist comic?
Yes, it was. Iron Fist number 14? 14. It predates Wolverine by a good margin.
Yeah. I love how Wolverine was just created to be just this random one-shot antagonist for the Hulk that had no plan for any sort of future use or anything.
And he just became, like, iconically, you know, a Captain America level. Everybody recognizes him.
Yeah. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be the right color, but it is the right color for me now, because it's the one I have out, and it's easy.
The lazy approach.
Yeah, the
like it.
This Nautilin Padawan, like Kit Fisto, has like the dreadlock tentacle heads,
Yep.
like. And so it's got clearly like bands that are like clustering some of the tentacles together,
Yep.
like a ponytail or something like that. Except like the Apprentice Padawan sheet doesn't have the Nautilin head.
Oh dear.
So there's like no reference. So it's like, okay, I just got to make this however I want. And so I was just like, well, I've already got the brown out that I did the boots and the belt with. So I'm just going to do those little bands in that same brown and just call it a day.
Yep, seems good. Send it. So I got a new device for my stream that I'm excited about, or my desk rig anyway. It takes 4 RCA signals and distorts like dilutes them down to 1 HDMI signal. Meaning I can plug my N64, my GameCube, my Wii, and my VCR all into the capture card.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you run them all simultaneously?
Sort of. A little more complicated than that, but sort of is the answer.
So I'm pretty sure I'm off camera right now. Yep.
Oh yeah, I'm like way up in the air.
I was just trying to get the lightsaber.
Yeah.
And tiny and trying to hit like specific spot.
Oh, there we go. Okay, that's how that is.
Don't want that one that's too bright.
I'm pretty good at painting cloth, but sometimes it really takes to focus on like, okay, where is this fold going and why is it here? So my students debuted their arcade machine yesterday.
How'd it all turn out?
The machine itself is great. I'm really proud of them. They did a really excellent job designing it, absolutely to the specs that we were looking for, or that we were hoping for. What I'm not very proud of, and yes, I'm willing to call this out publicly, a whole bunch of them just did not show up to school for the presentation. And that's embarrassing. And they were not sick either. They rode their bikes past the school at lunchtime.
Was it what they were just skipping school?
Yep, that is exactly what it was. They didn't want to present, so they skipped school. And what's worse is their parents called them out.
Oh, like, okay.
Like, called the school and said they're not coming in today.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, I'm sorry, that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
But those who did show up did an absolutely awesome job filling in the gaps, representing for their classmates who did not deserve it. And if I'm allowed to, I will put the names of the students who showed up and the one who emailed me and actually had a legitimate excuse for not being there. And I will leave the names of the people who did not come off the plaque. One of my colleagues was like, that's like studying for a test, like studying to the point where you really know what you're doing and then just not showing up for the test.
Yeah.
It's time to start putting some black panels in here. All right.
Probably should use a smaller brush for this.
I want to go darker than that. Oh, okay. Burnt toast. Your toast has been burnt, and no amount of scraping can remove the black part.
I felt so bad earlier this week. I made a steak for dinner.
Well, that was your first mistake. What?
Huh?
I said that was your first mistake. Ah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's not a problem. But I had the grill on a little too high.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first side, like, I wanted to like sear it and then cook the like internal.
Yeah.
So like I kind of set it, but like I said, set it a little too high. And so in the time that I thought would be reasonable to throw it on there, get the searing done, and then went to flip it, like it had charred the outside.
Oh, whoops.
But I mean, it was minor. So I ended up after like cooking cooking the other side, getting that little bit of sear on the other side, but not like to the complete chard that the first side was on.
Yeah.
When I ended up like cutting into it and eating it, I just turned it vertically and just did ever so slight slices and just sliced off the edge of the burnt bit. And then I'm like, this tastes amazing now. It doesn't taste like burnt husk. Like it tastes just fine once you cut out all the burnt parts. I just lost like a centimeter of steak.
Yeah, that's not too
Maybe
bad.
a little less. Yeah. Don't die. Did you drink paint water?
Almost. I'm cleaning out a busted can of Corvus Black, and I just catapulted a chunk of it into my mouth and right down my throat.
Lovely. So you didn't drink paint water, you drank paint.
I ate paint, and
Close
more
enough.
accurately inhaled it. All right, I'm done with this can. It's fired. That's for now. I will simply go a different route. I will just use Shadowing Gray instead. So the big highlight, other than the arcade machine, big highlight of my week was, of course, securing my pre-order for Nintendo Switch 2.
Oh, is that up yet?
Yeah. It was an absolute nightmare.
I need to go do that like immediately.
Good luck.
Yeah. I knew that they delayed the North American pre-order, but
yeah, it sold out in seconds. All the pre-orders. Yeah. And then like they've been trickling out here and there as like scalper bots get busted.
Even with the like they were supposed to be available only for Nintendo.
Oh, those haven't gone out yet. Those go out May 9th.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because the ones on like the My Nintendo members and all that stuff was supposed to be you had to have the account for a certain amount of time. You had to have so many hours played on your Switch.
Yeah, it's a year of paid NSO and 50 hours.
Yeah.
And we've all, so Adam, Paul, Chamali, and I have all kept ourselves in that lottery, even though we have our pre-orders in, just to help anybody who didn't get it. So if we get it and you need it, let me know. But yeah, it was Chamali and Adam and I were up at the wee hours of the morning on Wednesday night to secure ours, and Chamali and I got ours right away, like no problems at all.
That's good.
Yeah, it was super smooth through Target. Shout out Target, not a sponsor, but let's talk. Actually, let's not, because I don't want to shill for Target any more than I have to. But yeah, we in and out within a minute. We were all taken care of. Adam got his into his cart, paid for it, and then instead of getting a confirmation email, he got a cancellation email.
Oh,
like your order has been canceled. And he was like, what? And then like, I don't know, half an hour later, he got the confirmation email. So that was mega strange.
Yeah.
And then so Adam ended up going the next day to GameStop, and he was very easily able to secure one in person. So we were only looking for, like, we weren't looking for the Mario Kart pack-in bundle. We were just looking for the console. I'll deal with games later. So and the demand for those was predictably way less than
without Mario Kart.
Yeah. Mario Kart's one of those ones that, like, I didn't buy it on Switch because if I was going to play it, I'd just bring my Pro Controller to whomever had it. Like, that's a couch co-op game to me, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to play online if I can't see you. So, and I feel like Jamboree is going to, or rather, Mario Kart World is going to be the same experience for me. Although it does have that Forza, like, esque-ness to it that does appeal to me on some level. I love Forza Horizon 5. But I only play it, like, for 15, 20 minutes at a time. I'm not looking to sit down and grind Forza.
Mm-hmm.
Even though my students would love that. They love talking cars with me, and Forza is a pretty good way to keep up on that. They were all making fun of me the other day because I guess it was a couple of years ago now, but I got really excited, and I was talking about it in school that I had managed to get my own car in Forza, the Volkswagen GTI, and they were like, of all the cars you could drive, like, why would you drive the car that you actually own? I'm like, shut up. But yeah, I haven't really figured out what I'm actually excited about on Switch 2 yet. Like Metroid Prime 4, obviously, but like I still got to play 2 and 3. Like, and there's currently not really a way to on Switch. I'm kind of holding out hope that Prime 2 drops in the GameCube NSO. But who knows? And Prime 3 is a Wii game, and as much as I have my Wii working it now, I don't really want to use those controls for a Metroid game.
Even if it's a first-person Metroid game?
Yeah, I don't know. I just never... I don't like... I mean, I find the Wii Remote to be unreliable. For things that I want to be precise or specific with. I'd rather just use a GameCube controller, and since my Wii is a... Oh, hey, Blink. Yeah, it is kombucha time. Cheers. Back to the raspberry basil from last night. So good. I don't know, when Pro GC is an option, I'd just rather use that. Which is my that's the Handheld Legend, the new one we've been working on. It's not in yet, and of course it's delayed because tariffs. But we'll get it. I hold out hope that we will get it eventually. So worth noting, Broody, since it's I guess just worth talking about. Next week being Free Comic Book Day and Thunderbolts, I'm gonna try to be back in time for the show.
Yeah. If not, just let me know.
Yeah, exactly. Our show starts at 8 or 6 rather. So presumably done by 8, and it's like a 2-hour drive home. So I should be like just cutting it in. But we shall see. I mean, being at Free Comic Book all day, and then going to a movie is draining.
Very much so.
Blink, how'd the NCIS finale go? Almost explosively. Okay. Very interesting choice of words there. Being that I don't watch it, I probably won't have much to go on, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah, it was funny when the day before, I guess the day that Switch 2s went on sale. I was asking my students just kind of casually, like, there was a perfect. Oh, nice. I was like polling my students, like, okay, do you think I'm gonna get this, or do you think the scalper bots are gonna get us, and we're not gonna be able to get any? And it was about a 50-50 split, really. But I had a couple of particularly optimistic 4th graders who were like, you're going to get this. And they were like deadly serious about it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to run with that. Turns out they were right. So I keep like, every time I get stressed out, I'm just like, okay, a few more months, switch 2 comes. Oh, shoot. Oh, big mistake. Oh, did I fix it? I fixed it. Okay. There was a bad dude who got tossed into a river that had large crocs. It is Australia, after all. My friend told his wife those are the screeching eels. Dude, I mean, we had a screeching eels bit in the game last night too. I think you were still there for that. My hands are shaking really bad tonight. Huh. Why is that red? Oh, I'm just trying to figure out why something's red on this cover. There's like a random, it looks like a highlight, but it doesn't, there's no light coming from that direction.
Mm-hmm.
The music I'm listening to is Metroid Fusion, which has, like, of all the Metroid games, tends the most toward, like, suspense. And so there's these odd, like, silent gaps where I can hear my brush against the plastic through my the mic you're hearing, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really weird. Bordering on the uncomfortable. Okay, I can do that. Oh, cheers.
So, have you ever read the book series Dungeon Crawler Carl?
No.
Actually, several friends of mine have recommended it to me. And I read the first book of it, and by read, I listened to the audiobook.
Sometimes it's the best way.
Mm-hmm. And I just finished it this week, and it was absolutely hilarious.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun, and I'd highly recommend it.
All right.
The basic concept is there's this guy named Carl, and
let me guess, he crawls through dungeons.
Yes. So what happens is, like, an alien invaded Earth,
yeah,
like an alien species, and kind of smashed up everything in the world, and essentially created this underground dungeon that turned it into a giant reality show. And so all of the surviving humans kind of got shoved into this dungeon, and they have to keep, like, working their way down the dungeon.
That's awesome.
And so everything's like all kinds of RPG and video game sort of references and sort of like style. So you're like reading through the book, and as like Carl does stuff, it's like like achievement unlocked, and random things happen, and like all kinds of just little fun bits like that.
I like that a lot, actually. The books I discovered in the last, I don't know, 2 maybe 3 years that like I don't particularly enjoy high sci-fi or fantasy. What I do enjoy is weird like conceptual stuff. And that's why I like Lovecraft so much, and Holmes to a different extent. Like, but things like that have a weird high concept and a reason for it. I'm really into that, so I will have to check that out. All right. I need that bread again. I've been reading a book called Sellout that I got for Christmas. But of course, as I've mentioned already once on the stream, and will probably mention again, it's hard to find time to read.
Oh yeah.
So it's a lot easier for me to either read an audiobook when I'm on my way to my parents to pick up Kara, or read like a Turtles comic before bed. I'm on volume 17, which is the most current IDW Turtles book. It's very good. It's the Armageddon game stuff.
I need to pick up more TMNT books.
They're increasingly harder to find. Like,
I just get them all digitally anyway.
Oh,
so.
Right. Yeah, sure. I read the first like 10 volumes digitally without realizing that I had them. That's how many comics I have. I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna read that. Oh, wait a minute, I actually have that physically.
I was about to say, for me, the Kickstarter for the AGS came like part of the thing that they worked out with IDW, since it was their games department and their comics. They gave all backers like whatever book, like comics aligned with the story arcs of the game.
Oh, right. Because, yeah, you had, like, the Mutant Town stuff. You had...
Yeah. Well, I didn't have the Mutant Town stuff because the Mutanals stuff was the expansion, not the actual game.
Oh, that's right.
But it went through Changes Constant and, like, went through Cityfall.
Cityfall, that's right.
With, like, the whole Leo bits.
Yes. Which, like, the payout to that is insane. Like, wait till you get to that.
And all the Kitsune stuff.
Yep.
What I've been reading and I've been really liking a lot of the Thundercat stuff that have been coming out from Dynamite.
It's Dynamite, yeah. I was never really into Thundercats, but the Dynamite stuff has looked excellent. Three Body Problem. I've heard of Three Body Problem. I have not heard much about it. I've heard of it. That's about as far as my knowledge goes. Come on. Okay, we're gonna poke this one too then, just in case.
This brush is not wanting to keep a point.
Mine isn't either, but fortunately I'm at the base coating point where I don't really need one, because if I make a mistake, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, but I find trying to get like a decent coating. But Three Body Problem didn't like what's his face, not Don Cheadle roadie. solve the 3-body problem?
Oh,
Terrence Howard?
Terrence Howard, yeah.
I say facetiously.
Yeah.
I've not gotten to use Bugman's Glow in a long while.
Yeah, me either.
But it is a perfect skin tone for an Athorian.
It is my base like dwarf skin tone. But I haven't been painting many dwarfs lately. Chaos dwarfs are a different ball of yarn. Yeah, the brushes are. I mean, is any of this really like? Does any of it have a point? Blink. I mean, come on. This whole pursuit is pointless.
I'm not even going to acknowledge that. That was way too forced.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get your point.
There it is. There we go. Just had to approach it from a different angle.
So this here's a tiny detail that I really like.
Hmm.
So on this Athorian, it's like obviously an alien, not a human or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So its hand has like a different number of fingers. It's only got like 3 fingers and a thumb.
Mm-hmm.
But then like the way the sculpt is, it doesn't look like they just made a hand and like removed a finger from it. It's like it looks like the fingers are bigger than they should be, and like the palm is maybe like it just looks disproportionate. It looks alien.
That's cool. I like that. That's neat. Now that I'm actually making progress on this mini, I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm playing with color more or less. I wasn't sure going into this if I was going to go for sort of what it was intended with the Wesley Snipes blade, or try and just go for the Tomb of Dracula 10. But sort of hedging between the two has been a fun challenge. I got a really odd ad tonight that was for Dune Part 2. Really, oh, that's strange. The ad was in French. I've had a couple of Spanish adverts come up, like on YouTube and stuff, but never French so far. French I'd be able to understand. Rather than just saying Gesundheit. One of my students yesterday tried to ask me something in Spanish. I was like, "Bless you." Like, I got nothing, kiddo.
Yeah, I don't know Spanish very well.
I took 9 years of French, so
I didn't take that many, but I took 4 years of French.
Yeah,
and I was pretty fluent in it,
mm-hmm.
or at least close to fluent.
Yeah, I mean, they say that like, they say that once you start dreaming in a language, you like that's a sign, an early sign of fluency. Mm-hmm. My curiosity comes from like, okay, if that's the case, then most of my dreams are in British English.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does that mean? Because yes, I'm very much fluent in English. I do consume a lot of British television. Blake,
yeah.
Blake says, "Wow, now that means I'm fluent in gibberish." Aren't we all, Blake? Aren't we all? That's funny.
But I've been enjoying on my Saturday morning Arkham group. We've while waiting for Drowned City to come out, which it has now, but we'd started.
I was going to say I'm looking at it. Okay.
Yeah, we started Carcosa, and it's been fun getting to go through. And when you get to Paris,
oh yes,
like the back half where it's like there's so much stuff in French, and me being able to be like, I can read that, I know what it's saying.
Yeah, Alex would always like, anytime anything in French would come up, and it does in Arkham a fair amount between Louisiana and Paris and elsewhere. He would just hand me the manual and be like, "You read it."
Yeah.
Alex can't read English on a good day.
I'm really looking forward to playing through Drowned City.
Yeah, me too.
I've already laid claim in our group to play Michael McGlenn. I've already got my deck built out.
I just want to play Arkham at all.
Yeah.
Like, we've got, I think, 1 or 2 missions left in Orange Box.
Hemlock Vale?
Thank you. And I just want to get that done. But yeah, I really want to play Drowned City. I mean, it's not your fault.
No, I'm just sorry that you're stuck in Hemlock Vale.
Oh, yeah.
And me and my group have been complaining a bit. So, like, the general consensus, like, everyone harped on and hated the Scarlet Keys.
Oh, really?
But I love Scarlet Keys. It's so good.
I do too, yeah.
Like, everyone just complains that there's, like, it's too much reading and there's no connected story and it's not Lovecraftian and all this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, this is an amazing, like, the game design is great. The story is awesome. Yes, there's reading, but I mean, it like, is that really that much of a bad thing?
Right.
And then they're all like, Hemlock Vale is such an amazing, like, scenario or campaign, and it's like the best thing since sliced bread and everything else. And I'm just like, all of those complaints, like this is
it's an extremely
it's based on
lore-heavy
Colorado
campaign.
Space.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very lore heavy. It's just like instead of giving you a wall of text, they put these like prelude scenarios and codexes that you have to read, and it's like they just hide the wall of text reading in the middle of a scenario that makes you stop constantly to go back and forth in the scenario,
right,
and stop and then read it and then play and stop and read a bunch and play and apparently that like at least that amount of like slight deception / hiding the text apparently worked for most of the like Reddit and Facebook communities for Arkham, because they apparently don't recognize the fact that they're being tricked into the like same if not more amount of reading for like a weaker story.
Yeah, I mean significantly.
So yeah, and but then the consensus seems to have like turned around for Drowned City, where everyone is now complaining about it being so poorly designed and this awful campaign and stuff. I'm like, well, given the past 2 campaigns that and the general consensus that everyone has been saying, that bodes well for how much I think I'm going to like the Drowned City.
Yeah.
One particular player in particular. There's like one guy in the Facebook group, his name's like Robert something, I don't know.
Yeah.
He feels the need to interject or post on literally every post that comes onto the Facebook thing. And pretty much all he does is interject, Hemlock Vale is the greatest thing ever, Scarlet Key sucks. Regardless of whether or not that's what like the original post is, he finds some way to work that into whatever like the conversation is.
I hate people like that.
And I'm just like, shut the hell up, dude.
I just don't understand why people feel need to like be horrible to each other.
Yeah. One person was doing something fun. Someone was mentioning they were trying to do a Scooby-Doo themed run. And so they were like trying to figure out like what campaign and like what investigators to use.
I mean,
obviously
Schizo Drool would be
what?
Schizo Drool would be a first.
Yeah, use all the Barkham horror investigators. Yeah, that's great. But no, obviously, like they were like use Pete and Duke for Shaggy and Scooby. And I'm like, okay, that's the easy one.
That's the easy.
But the same Robert guy, in addition to posting about how much he loved Hemlock Vale, was like, you should use like Pete and Duke, obviously, and it's like Roland for Fred, Mandy for Velma, and then said Wendy for Daphne. And I was like,
Wendy?
Excuse you? Like, Daphne is like absurdly wealthy. She is definitely Jenny Barnes.
Jenny Barnes, yeah.
Out of anything, you're using Jenny Barnes for Daphne. Like, there is no substitute.
Wow.
And then someone posted up, it's like, well, like Shaggy's really wealthy too. And I'm like, that's a new addition in like the 2010 Scooby-Doo,
yeah, the
like,
original
Mystery Incorporated. Like originally, Daphne's dad bankrolled all of Mystery Inc. and she had a huge mansions with butlers and servants, and like she was canonically incredibly wealthy.
Yeah.
For decades before they made Shaggy a wealthy person also.
Oh my gosh! You know what?
Which I feel
can Ashcan Pete take blue cards at all?
No,
Oh,
I mean kind of.
Because I was gonna say
he's a Dunwich, so he can take 5 level 0s. Of
so he could take Borf.
Huh?
Borf.
Oh, the guard dog.
The guard dog.
Yeah.
Scrappy
and Scooby. That's amazing. And Duke doesn't take up an ally slot, so you could actually run them both at the same time. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
No, that was actually one of like the silly like meme decks that I built for an invocation event one year.
Mystery Inc. Or Shaggy and Scooby?
No, literally just Ashcan Pete. I think I posted it was like the Zookeeper Pete. I took any ally, like any card that was like an animal of some kind with Pete, and like took like the animalism rod that gave me like 2 extra ally slots that could only be filled with animals, and extra charismas that like, and if you take sled dogs, each sled dog takes up half a slot essentially, so you could have 2 in 1 ally slot.
Yep.
So you could run with 4 of them in your deck, and I ended up having this silly build, and it was hilarious. And then I found out when we got to the event that the scenario we were playing was like hard coded to screw that particular build over.
Oh no!
Like it was a very heavy like anti-ally scenario. Like it really hosed me, and I was like, I need to play this again on a more neutral setting type thing, because I think this is hilarious and fun. And just the scenario I was playing, and I like was scraping by doing what I could, because the game was like really like
actively
it was
toasting
just one of those, like, anti me.
Yeah.
But I could recognize that at least, so there's the plus there.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about Arkham Horror just in general, because I do a cooperative board game group with my students. And I was just thinking, like, you, me, Alex, Chamali, Greg, Jacqueline are absurdly good at most things Arkham. Like, our win rate is way higher than most.
Mm-hmm.
And it really does force us to think about these things from a different point of view. Like, we're constructing decks on such a high level, like, I don't know. It almost seems unfair.
Yeah, that's why, like, in my Thursday game, it's just me and one other guy from my Saturday group.
Yeah.
But we're like very much into your deck building and like the game thing. So usually when we do the Thursday night games, we're replaying like campaigns and stuff, but either focusing for specific endings if they have like the multiple endings, to try and like see everything and play it all out, or like we just did the Forgotten Age where we got to the secret scenario.
Oh, nice.
And did that whole bit. But we also try and play like super janky decks to do bizarre, silly things. And usually they're really bad, but we find ways to make them work, or pick cards that don't ever get in the pool usually, and figure out ways to make them work. Like that Forgotten Age one, I was just like, who do I want to play as? I'm going to be the primary fighter. Let me play Rita, and whose sole thing is evading enemies constantly.
Right.
And if you evade them, you can deal them a damage once per round.
Yeah.
And it was like so horribly inefficient, but incredibly funny. And I worked it around like there are enough cards that I was able to make it a very sufficient, a very well-rounded deck that worked incredibly well in that scenario or that campaign. And what made it great was in the final scenario, like the secret scenario at the end, I got like the Chef's Kiss combo pulled off that I was hoping for like the entire campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So her Elder Sign lets you ignore the round limit on her evade ability.
Oh, jeepers.
So you can do that as like all you want.
Yeah.
So we have the big bad Yoth out or whatever. He's got 20 health. Oh, we also killed the Harbinger. That was the other goal of that campaign.
Yep.
Which we succeeded at doing. But he's got a whole bunch of health, and I needed to figure out a way to kill him. He might have had like 16, I think, with 2 players. But he can't take damage if there's a ready serpent enemy at his location, which there happened to be.
Oh, God.
So it was engaged with me, so I was like, let me evade it, and then we'll go from there.
Sure.
And I drew the Elder Sign.
Nice.
on my first evasion attempt. So I was like, well, okay, Serpent, you are just immediately getting murdered. That's, or not murdered, but you're taking your damage.
Yeah.
You're evaded, and now I have no limit. So I followed up with, I happen to have her signature card, which is ready all enemies, engage all enemies, and when you evade an enemy, instead of exhausting it and disengaging with it, you can deal it a damage.
Yep.
So in that point, it essentially, you can deal 2 damage because you can evade it and deal it a damage with your reaction, and then because you don't exhaust it, you can just deal it another damage from the signature.
Ugh.
And now I just gotten the I don't have a round limit. So I did all kinds of silly things. I re-evaded the serpent and killed it because it only had 3 health. So I dealt 2 the second time. And then I had some sort of bonus action because she can take like weird trick cards that let me then evade Yoth, and I evaded him and dealt him 2 damage. And then because I did that, I used Dirty Fighting, which let me make an attack. So I played Cheap Shot, which let me add my feet to the attack, and I attacked it for a damage. And when I successfully succeed at a hit by 2, it automatically evades the enemy. Because I evaded the enemy, I dealt it a damage for the reaction and a damage for the... And so I just compounded this thing and ended up dealing like 13 out of the 16 damage.
That's awesome.
To the boss like in one turn.
I love it.
It was so silly and just amazing.
Those sort of interactions are what makes Arkham games so fun to play. Mm-hmm. They don't happen every single time, and by nature of by nature of the beast, but like when they do, you feel like such a god.
Mm-hmm. Like in that particular scenario, I usually ended up saving her signature for just to commit, because it's like 2 foot 2 fist. So it's like it's really helpful.
Yeah,
it's just like a useful card. But very, very rarely was I like, oh, let me ready and engage all the enemies and then just deal extra damage if I evade them.
Right.
Because like I didn't usually have a lot of extra actions to soak up a whole bunch of enemies that way. So more often than not, I used it to just commit, but I happened to draw it that round from my deck, so I had it in hand, and then happened to draw the Elder Sign on my first test, and I was like, well, let's go.
Yeah. It's game time.
Yeah. It was so silly. This time we're running through Dark Matter again.
Yeah.
Because we just finished that in our 4-player game, so we're going through again, and for the first time, I've never gotten a chance to play with him. I'm playing Finn Edwards.
Yep.
I'm like, this sounds fun. He gets to do a lot of evading and some silly shenanigans with evading. But then I was like looking. It was my turn to be the Clover, so I was like, oh, he's got a decent book stat. Like that'll be pretty nice. I can work with that. Then I looked at his deck building restrictions, and it's only level 0
Zeros.
to 3.
Yeah. Oh, 0 to 3.
0 to 3 green. But then it's like 0 to 5 illicit cards. But the illicit cards are almost exclusively geared towards combat.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 4 that are really geared towards investigating. So I was like, well, let me add those 4 to the deck and see where I go from there.
Yeah.
So I built this really funny deck that's really focused on maximizing his freebie evade.
Right.
And getting some extra benefits out of it. But it's hilarious and it works insanely well.
Good.
And I'm having a blast with it.
I mean, that's the most important part right there.
Yeah.
I always like playing with Sammy and Alex. Like, obviously making the right deck building choice is important. but like we would often do silly like offbeat things just because we knew we could handle it. Sammy was especially, good at that. Or like picking characters that deliberately like you probably don't want to run together.
Yep.
Eating each other's card pools was always a classic at our table.
In our current Carcosa campaign, we wanted to do like a silly like all neutral investigator build.
Is that possible now?
No, you can only do it with technically 3. There are only 3 neutral investigators.
That's what I thought.
Which was sad, but we were gonna take it, and then someone chickened out and ended up not taking Charlie Kane.
Oh God.
But I ended up still playing Lola in Carcosa because she gets like her extra dialogue and extra story bits and stuff.
Right. And
one of the other guy that's on my Thursday games, so we were a little bit more comfortable making silly builds and stuff, is Susie.
Okay.
The blob that ate everything else. Yeah. Whose mechanic is devouring cards.
Right.
Just at like that, controlled by investigators at your location.
I love it.
So in order to boost her stats, she has to devour cards, and as she does, it like increases her stats. But if she eats too much, she starts regurgitating them, and then they go away forever, and then her stats drop. And so it's this balancing act of trying to just keep things going.
Right.
But her level up is based on you look at the color cards that you devoured, and you can only level up or spend experience to purchase cards of the color that you devoured the most that scenario.
Right.
So it was constantly throughout the campaign trying to figure out like how many of X color did I devour, which ones do I need to upgrade for the build and the campaign, how do I get through this, and making sure to do that, but then also trying to devour cards controlled by other players, which is hilarious because he can devour weaknesses.
Right.
As long as it's a player card, he can't like devour
signature weaknesses.
No, signature weaknesses either also he can do those. He can't do like encounter cards that go into your threat area.
Right, okay, yeah.
Because you don't own those, you only control them.
Right. That's awesome though.
But yeah, it's a really good way to deal with a lot of your weaknesses.
Yeah.
At least if you have one that comes into play as like your chronophobia, take a damage at the end of every round, or things like that. You can just be like, okay, I'm just going to devour that and be done with it.
Yep.
However, with Lola, my build was built around all of the edge of the earth stuff,
right?
Which added it like brought back your multicolor cards, but then built in all those synergy cards.
Yep.
To like for each color card you have, you get a bonus. So I took every starting permanent you could for every class.
That makes sense.
Because permanents are in play and you control them. So right off the bat, any of my synergy cards I play will have an automatic plus like 5 to them. Because like for each color I control is 5.
Right.
So like your gang up is the blue one where it's like fight and you get plus X. Fight and plus X damage, where X is the number of cards you control. So
yeah,
I fight with her base 3, but I get plus 5 and I deal 6 damage.
That's awesome.
And so yeah, I'll just wallop into like the big bads of the scenario using that. Or the yellow ones just move to any location, but it costs 5 and you reduce it by 1 for each of your color things. So essentially it's a free fast card to move to any revealed location. That has saved my bacon many times. Like the green is get a resource as a fast action, so I upgraded out of Faustian Bargain to get the same 5 resources as a fast action with no curse tokens.
I like that.
And then the neutral one is just call for backup, where if you have each color, it's green lets you move, yellow lets you get a clue, blue lets you deal a damage, red lets you heal a damage, and purple lets you heal a horror. So I spend one, and I get to do all 5 of those things just because.
That's so
it's
good.
Awesome. It's still a little bit of a difficult piloting because you can only play like the colors of your role, so you have to know when to switch roles and stuff.
Right.
But they've tabooed her to make it a little bit easier. So it used to just be you only had your fast action once per round. You could change your role. Now they added a full-blown action that you could change your role. So like it's not action economy, but you can change multiple times in a round if you absolutely need to.
Yeah.
And her weakness isn't just discard every card you control and in your hand of the whatever role you are, which is insanely brutal.
I remember that. I think it was Alex piloting her, and that was rough.
Yeah, because at that point in time I was constantly trying to play to you were constantly using your fast action to switch between a role that would least affect you.
Yeah.
And hope that you didn't get it on the off turns. Now it's just discard one card from your hand or play area of the roll, and then you can do the same, like discard to change roles and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to deal with her weakness now, which helps out a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
But
I don't know. It's good if you're not a glutton for punishment like us and play everything as printed.
Yeah. Yeah, I generally avoid taboos, but for the most part, things that kind of fix cards that were like poorly designed,
yeah,
or like weren't well thought out, or like kind of they needed boosts in order to really make sense or justify using. I tend to use those, but the imposed limits because they made a card too good, I'm just like, I will just choose not to use that when I want to, or if I do, I will use it as is. Right. I'm not going to bother tabooing that.
Like Milan Christopher, for example.
Yes. It's like, nope, that's not an exhaust. That's just use it whenever you want to investigate to get a clue.
Yep.
Because, I mean, really, even if you don't exhaust them, how often are you investigating multiple times in a turn like that?
Exactly. It doesn't come up that often.
Like, a lot of the times I'm trying to, like, I may investigate once and maybe twice, but very rarely more than that.
Right.
Usually I'm trying to compress actions by deductions or things like that to just get multiple clues when you want to investigate.
Yep.
But like your Winchester, that used to just be if you drew a +1/0 or Elder Sign, you would get +2 damage to the attack or something like that.
Yeah.
But then they changed it to just be a non-negative modifier for the like if you pull a token with a non-negative modifier. So like if you were playing and if the skull happened to be a 0, or your cultist was draw another token, like you technically revealed one with a non-negative modifier, and so like it would trigger a lot more frequently.
Yeah.
And that was a definitely needed boost.
Yeah.
Because that's actually a pretty decent gun if you take that into account.
Yeah, absolutely. With the white glasses, Blade almost looks like Ray Charles.
The white glasses? Oh, from the original cover?
Well, just in the original cover he had bright green glasses. Just I haven't painted them yet.
Ah.
into that weird place where you just like you just start seeing little gaps where the paint has like separated.
Yep.
And like I know Null and Oil will fix that, but I'm such an anal retentive wiener that I insist on going back and doing it myself first.
I need a sand color. How's this one looking? Not great.
Is that in terms of quality or color?
Quality.
Yeah.
I pulled out my Xandri dust because that's like a...
That's like the go-to, right?
Yeah. This desert yellow should probably work.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Doing what I did with Shang-Chi for the hair. Makes it look completely absurd, but it gets the job done. And that is to use Vega blue-gray and then black over the top.
Paint did not mix very well.
Uh-oh.
I'm
sorry.
So I was super excited last weekend, maybe 2 weeks ago. I forget exactly when it goes. The remaster for Lunar came out.
Oh, Lunar's so good.
I know. It was like really the first like JRPG that I'd ever played.
Same.
And so like I was a big fan, and then I saw that it was getting remastered, and I was super excited. And so I ended up, like when it came out, I like got it and was very, very pleased to get a chance to play some more.
That's fantastic.
For the first time in forever.
Yeah, I played it with a buddy, way back in the day. Yeah, we had so much fun playing that game. All right. Do I do the obnoxious green sunglasses?
Yep.
Yep. I do. Ogre Bogey Grain. It's not the strangest wet palette I've seen at the last 20 minutes of a stream, but it's close.
But yeah. So I've been enjoying Lunar. They got a completely new voice cast from
Okay.
the Working Designs cast, and for the most part, it's pretty good. There haven't been like any super like egregious bad like casting choices. I don't think.
Sure.
I think they fixed. Probably not the right word for it, but it's like Nala and Luna in particular are nowhere near as like squeaky as they were.
That is good.
Um, Galleon is not as nasally.
That is also good.
Yeah. Um, Overall, I have been enjoying most of the voice acting work now. This time, I think they did a decent job. Like they went for like I think the only person they got back was the singing voice for Luna. Came
Sure.
back and redid the songs. But they did some like mild editing of like text dialogue.
Yeah, that's good.
Um, but not too much. Like there's a couple things that were it's like that is not what they said initially. They clearly took that out.
Yeah.
And they did do a good overhaul of the inventory system.
That is also good.
Because, yeah, so instead of having to actually have the people be carrying what you want them to use, like you had to like Null carried the entire party inventory, but if you wanted to use it in battle, each character had to have it specifically in their inventory.
Right.
So you had to, like, go and actually move things around outside of battle.
Right.
Now it's just a full shared inventory.
Oh, good. Okay, the green glasses actually play. Nice. I didn't think they would, but they do. Definitely gonna have to employ some blood for the blood god on this mini, though. I'm not upset about it.
Might I suggest something different?
Okay.
Do you have any like green slime or ectoplasm to put on the sword since he's coming out with all those ghosts?
I do. Yes, I do. I have. Oh, I have all kinds of stuff. So I basically. Oh, there it is. I basically have all kinds of different blood for the blood god colors.
Mm-hmm.
So I could use. I have a vomit one. I have
yeah, I would normally say blood for the blood god easy, like,
but because
like,
of what he's
this
dealing
particular
with,
model, he's fighting like ghosts, ghost type stuff.
So
I would like try and go for like an oozy colored.
Yeah, I have a blue one. I have a green one. I have a vomit one that I'll probably end up using. I also have bile, like a bright
yellowish green.
Yeah,
because that's what I ended up doing with my Drax. Was I tried to use like an alien slime color.
Yeah, this one's like
instead of blood for the blood god.
Yeah, I have all kinds of stuff. We might have to experiment a little bit. Well, I'm thinking about it though. X-ray flame.
Okay, I did not quite get to actually doing the highlighting I wanted to tonight.
Yeah, me either. But here we are.
But I got the base coats done for all 4 of these.
Nice.
Well, I had the 2 already done. I finished the other 2 and then got the bases done.
Right.
For all 4 of them.
Well, we'll do everything we can to get back here next week and carry on. Carry on with our unending penance. Still got 15 minutes here.
Mm-hmm.
But this paint is like cheating.
Which one?
Hex Wraith Flame. For what I'm doing right now. Just the straight up cheats.
There we go. Pull this one out.
Might employ a second coat of that, but we'll see. Alright. 10 minutes left. Let's see if I can get a base coat down on these katanas. I can always ink it tomorrow. And I actually can, because I'm on vacation this week.
That's good.
Yeah.
Any particular reason or just like a school
vacation, just April. Spring break situation. Spring break! Come on. Handshaking continues.
No, like that one. No.
There's that bit. I am going to quickly... Oh. Huh. Okay. Cool. All right, cool. Antique gold. That seems like a good... Oh. Okay. You know, I'm really glad I chose... Like, I definitely seriously considered priming this mini black.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad I didn't. Just because it's so much easier to see the detail. And delineate the colors. Because despite being a pretty dark character in general, Blade actually has a lot of color going for him. A lot of variation. Subtle variation.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless. All right. I can, in the last couple minutes here, try and get some ink on it. No, I don't have to do it later in the week. Fingers. And of course he's wearing fingerless gloves because he's a badass.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, did your volume just get like crazy higher?
No.
Huh, maybe I buffed the thing. Alright. You're not closer to your mic at all?
No, it's like on my headset, so.
Okay, so that doesn't change. Alright, well, that's weird. Okie dokie. Where is Camo Shade? There you are. Try to hide from me, boy. Wait a minute. Oh. I'm going to take a risk here.
What's that?
Bealtan Green.
I like Bealtan Green.
I do too. It's a little bit greener than Camo Shade. Yes. Absolutely. Still maintains the black, but also gives the green that I was looking for. What else have we got? Red. Do I have like a Caresburg somewhere? I sure do. Basically the same thing, alright.
Yeah, let's use this.
Alright, and the rest is... Well, is there a little bit of Agrax? Yeah, probably. No. Considering what we're doing. Break out the Nuln Oil.
This is perfect.
Good. Nuln over metallics. Nuln oil over metallics never ceases to amaze me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just unreal. All right. Okay, that's base coats on blade locked. For one 2-hour session, I am not in any way disappointed by this mini so far. He's not coming out.
That's good.
Yeah, pretty happy with that.
I was gonna say my little final touch up here, doing the highlights on the Nautilin, and I decided to use Moot Layer Green to do the highlights as just a super bright, and it contrasts so well with the green skin.
Yeah.
Underneath. Very pleased with this.
Definitely some highlighting to go on this, but I like the little pops of, 70s color thrown in there, just to give it a little life.
Yeah.
Having a little fun. All right. Well, since we've run out of song here, it's probably time to call it a night. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you for joining us as we attempt to bring back this show after a month away. Please, Steve from Skulls, forgive us. We swear we will continue to paint miniatures until we die. So I will be back, or I'm going to try to be back on Monday for Indiana Jones. Streams throughout the next week are kind of questionable. Depends on how quickly I get my office rebuilt. And it depends, and painting, of course, depends on Free Comic Book Day shenanigans. So we will keep an eye on our socials, keep an eye everywhere else, and we will catch you when we catch you. Take care, everyone. Bye.
See ya.